Hello, hello, Sarah of SEK Handmade here, and today I want to share with you how to work the Tunisian slanted stitch. This is a fun little stitch that, just like its name, slants a little bit to the right. So let's go. The Tunisian slanted stitch lives up to its name. It does exactly what it says it does, and it is a really clean and sleek stitch that slants slightly to the right. This alone is just a slightly different texture than the Tunisian simple stitch, but also when used in combination with other Tunisian stitches can give just a really wide variety of really gorgeous textures. So let's go ahead and give it a try. To practice the Tunisian slanted stitch, you simply need any weight of yarn that you are comfortable with and a hook that matches. I'm using one of my interchangeable Tunisian hooks here without the cord because I don't need it quite that long. But you will see you do need a hook that has a nice long neck so that you can put your loops on it without running into like an ergonomic handle or something like that. To start off, you can chain any number of stitches and work your setup row. If you're not sure about how to do that, I will link in the description below about how to do your setup. And so any number of stitches, any yarn, any hook that has a nice long neck on it, and do your setup row. All right, I have just completed a return pass from where I was before so that I'm ready to start my forward pass on my row. This is where the magic of the Tunisian slanted stitch happens. Otherwise, your return pass is exactly the same. A Tunisian slanted stitch is worked extremely similarly to the Tunisian simple stitch. The Tunisian simple stitch is simply worked through this front leg of the stitch from right to left. For the Tunisian slanted stitch, we're going to just twist that a little bit, and instead of inserting our hook from right to left, we're going to insert our hook into each stitch from left to right. It's simple in concept, but a little finicky, especially with the very first stitch. So what I recommend is go ahead and give yourself a nice long loop, because working into this first stitch, you just need a little more wiggle room. You can work into the first stitch and then tighten this one a little bit, so it really doesn't matter. So give yourself the space. Then, like I said, for a Tunisian simple stitch, we would go this direction. We're just going to go the opposite way and insert our hook into that loop from left to right. Once you've done that, you're just going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and if you need to tighten that first stitch a little bit, you totally can. Then you're just going to continue working down the row in that same fashion. Now I want to show you, think about your loops here. They are all really just one long connected piece of yarn that you've put on your hook. So when you yank on this stitch to insert your hook from left to right, it pulls on the next stitch and shortens it. That is totally normal, but the reason I'm telling you is sometimes if you yank hard enough, this next stitch can almost disappear. And so you want to be watching carefully to make sure that you're finding all of your stitches. Now, I have two tips. If you find that working into that next stitch is challenging because you've pulled on it and it's shortened, you can just stick your hook in like you're going to Tunisian simple stitch. Give it a little tug to give yourself some more space to work into it. Will it tug on your next stitch and shrink it? Sure, but it can be worth the not being frustrated so much about working into the stitch. So then once you've lifted up that loop, it makes it a little easier to insert your hook from left to right, and then yarn over and pull up your loop. So let me show you that one more time, and then I have one more tip for inserting your hook that has become the method that I like best. So you can just lengthen that loop, insert your hook from left to right. Now, the tricky part is make sure you're not grabbing any additional loops. You just want that front loop of your Tunisian stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Now, I have found that the way I most easily can insert my hook from left to right is instead of twisting my hook all the way around, I let the top part of my hook do the work. And instead of inserting the tip of my hook, I insert the hook part of my hook into the stitch from left to right. So I turn my hook down and I grab that loop with my hook. Then I pull and rotate my hook under the loop and come out the top. And that gives you, oh, if you grab all your plies, that gives you the same effect as inserting the top of your hook from left to right. And then I complete it the same way, yarn over and pull up my loop. Let me show you that again. I'm going to insert this part of my hook from left to right. Then I'm going to rotate the top of my hook into that loop. And you'll notice, let's take a look at this loop. It goes behind, over, and around. So you will know if you're doing it right if your hook goes, if the loop that you just inserted into goes behind your hook, over, and around. And then yarn over and pull through. I will confess, when I started doing this, you got to be careful not to twist your hook in any funny direction, or you can end up with your stitch twisted, and then it's not necessarily going to lean to the right. But with a little practice, doing it that way I found was just a little faster. So totally up to you. And as you're getting started, you may want to do it the other way. I will warn you, when I was making my swatch even, I missed this last stitch because it was pulled so tightly. So be sure to grab all of your stitches, no matter which method you're using. And especially that, that one right there towards the end can be a little harder to see because it's gotten pulled a bunch. Then, just like any other Tunisian stitch, or I should say most other Tunisian stitches, you're going to work into the V at the end. And that's how you work a row of Tunisian slanted stitches. Your return pass is just like any traditional return pass. You're going to yarn over, pull through your first loop, then yarn over and pull through 2 loops at a time all the way back, and you're ready to make another row. And that is how you work the Tunisian slanted stitch. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is always my goal to help you grow confidently in your craft, and I hope that this video has done that. If you feel like it has, I would love it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, check out the links in the description below for other Tunisian tutorials, and happy crafting!